Hey, Hudson here, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be breaking down my Medium and Newsbreak earnings to see which one earns more per hour. I'll be going over my stats and experiences to give you an idea of how much time and energy is involved with each, how much you can expect to earn, and the things I wish I would have learned when I first started. If you're a full-time writer, a part-time writer, you work a 9 to 5, you're a student, or are just interested in writing and earning money from your words, this video is for you. By the end of it, you'll have a great understanding of how much you can expect to earn compared to your investment of time and energy. And at the end of this video, I'll be showing you exactly how you can get monetized on each of these platforms. Okay, so let's hop onto my computer, I'll screen share, and we will start by taking a look at my stats. Okay, hi, and welcome to my computer. So what we'll be doing is reviewing my stats from February. As at the time of filming this, it is not yet at the end of March. So I want to give you a full snapshot of a month's earnings. So you can see here we have our stats. Basically what I'm going to take you through in this section is how many articles I wrote, how much I earned, where the money came from, and how much effort was involved for the whole process. Okay, so we see here for February, I wrote 6 articles. I usually aim for a minimum of 8, but this month I actually wrote a little bit less. I take a long time to write articles, especially on Medium. I find it very hard to pardon my language, but to half-ass articles. Once I start, I want to explore the topic I'm writing about thoroughly. And for me, the writing process, when it's something I care about, has never been quick. So consistency has actually been the hardest part of writing on Medium, as articles take me quite a long time to write. So I would say on average, each article takes me between 4 to 12 hours. And I know that's a big range, but what I mean by that is the least an article will take me will be about 4 hours. That's if I nail my first draft and the points just come together. More often than not, it takes me an entire day, if not 2, sometimes 3, depending on the article. So if we hop over to my stats here, I'll show you exactly how these translated into money for the month. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up my February earnings. So you can see at the top here, I got $25 from referred members. So that anyone signs up for Medium using either your referral link or your subscriber link, you'll get paid a recurring commission of 50% of the membership fee, which is $5 US each month. So I recommend at the bottom of each of your articles, always adding a call to action for them to sign up or subscribe to your email link, because this is kind of a pro tip, but if somebody signs up for Medium using your subscriber link, then you actually get that commission per month as well. So you can see here the breakdown of each of these articles. Let's go to the very bottom to get the total. You see there's quite a lot at the bottom here, just collecting a few cents a month. And that's because I have been writing on Medium for a few years now, and I have quite a vast library of articles. I have over 200. So just know that the more you write, those articles will continue to earn. Some of these I wrote years ago, and although it's just a few cents, they actually add up. So you can see here a total of 1,100 USD, which so just over $1,500 Canadian. So not bad, especially because I only wrote 6 articles. And that brings me to my next point perfectly, which is where the money came from. And as you can see, over half of that came from one article. So this article here on Alex Cooper accounted for the majority of my earnings. And that's kind of how earnings go for me. Everyone is different. Some people earn consistently from each article. Some people, like me, see big spikes. So if we were to add up just the articles I wrote in February, it would probably be, I don't even see a lot of them here, it would probably be, to be honest, less than $100 even. So that just goes to show that a big part of Medium is just long time consistency, and those people that are at the top earning It either comes from just their vast library of articles or the fact that they have had some viral articles. Okay, so let's compare that to Newsbreak. So my Newsbreak account here, we can see that in February, I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles. So very comparable to Medium. And to give you a reference, these articles on Newsbreak take me about half the time, if not less than half. So on average, maybe 2.5 hours from start to finish. They're a lot more matter of fact, they're shorter, and they don't involve any introspection. They're just about an external topic. So I found that much easier to write about. And if we go on the earnings for February, I'll show you a breakdown of how much it earned. So you can see a total of 72 US dollars. So that's just under $100 Canadian, which on the surface might seem like Medium pays a lot more. But if we break down things a little bit further, I believe a Newsbreak is actually a higher percentage of earnings per hour. So you can see here, the average article here, the ones that performed well in that month had about 5,000 views for $20. This one about the same, $5,020. You could say it's about $5 per 1,000 views. It's not exact math, but just doing some quick math. And I found that Newsbreak articles, it's a lot easier for them to go viral. And something that is very important to add here is that on Medium, every time I post, I have a habit of going to my last article and responding to everybody that has left a comment, and then I go on their profiles and I leave a comment as well. And that's a practice I find super helpful to feed the algorithm to get your articles pushed out and potentially go viral. So that takes, on average, I have about 20 to 30 comments on average, I'd say, each time I post to respond to and then spread engagement. So it takes about an hour as a minimum. So if I do that 2 times per week, that's 2 hours per week. So it adds to the time spent. On Newsbreak, I have never even looked at a single comment. I've heard they can be quite negative, so I avoid those. And I don't spend any time engaging. I just write the article, I post, and that's it. Not to mention, there's no publications on Newsbreak, so you don't have to spend time submitting to publications only to get rejected and have to resubmit, which takes time. It's just you submit it, they approve it either same day or next day, and that's it. And then at the bottom here, you can see I haven't earned any yet. I only started writing on Newsbreak this year. So I wrote from halfway through January to February, and I earned about $150. And that was actually my first full month on the platform. If you're interested, I have a video, which I'll link in the description below. You can watch after this one. But Newsbreak also has a program for referrals. So they have, you can either refer via the app. So they have a link on your profile, which you can share your referral link. And if somebody uses that to download the app, then you get $5, which is pretty awesome because the app is actually free. So that's a good service there. And then actually, if you refer a contributor, anybody that gets approved for monetization, they earn $50. And if they write 50 articles, then you actually get $200. So quite a good program there. And if you watch the end of the video, I will provide some resources on how you can get monetized as well. Okay, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to touch on the effort it actually takes to write these articles and how earnings are actually calculated. If you work a 9 to 5 or your time is limited, this may be helpful for you to know how to maximize the time you're spending on each of these articles. So on Medium, to use the example of this article here from Alex Cooper, because it has lots of views for me at least, and it's quite a recent article. This will give a good idea of how the earnings are actually calculated. You can see here 18,000.8 views. If we go back to our stats page here, we can see that out of those 18.8 thousand views, 2.1 thousand, so 2,100, were actually reads, meaning they read the whole article. And if we scroll down here, you can see there's a total read time of 619 hours. It's actually the most accurate way to calculate your earnings. Essentially, the member read time is where the majority of the pay comes from. So it's not an exact science, but it's generally about 1,000 reads at a 4 to 5 minute read time. I've found equals around $1,000. So you can use that metric to kind of plan ahead and shape how the earnings on these articles are calculated. And really quickly, if you're new to this channel, my name's Hudson and I make money writing words online. My goal with this channel is to help you do the same. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of new posts. Okay, now back to the video. This is a 13-minute article. So part of the reason why this one has performed so well is because it's so long that the read time will naturally be higher if people are actually interested in it. This is a technique I've started to use and I found it really helpful. I do a lot of research and I do my best to tell a captivating story that people want to read to increase the read time. If your story is only 2 minutes long, the maximum amount of read time you can get per read is 2 minutes. So I like to write longer stories. I just prefer it too because I like to dive deep into topics. But just to give you an example, this article, it's actually longer. I put in just as much effort as the Alex Cooper article. And if we look at the stats, we'll see how much it's earned $12. And I probably spent 12 hours on this in total. So you can see it's a give or take. Everyone's strategy is different. I prefer to put in as much effort as I can into each article and hopefully they perform well. Some people just like to produce more content, totally up to you. That said, on average, I'd say 2 articles a week as a minimum is a must just to keep you in the algorithm's favor. And as I mentioned on Newsbreak, the effort involved in writing articles is much lower. And if we go to earnings on my articles here, you can see that it don't give as in-depth analysis on each of the articles. So you can see here that it's just generally, they give 2 major metrics. So the views and then the RPM, which is how much you would earn potentially for 1,000 page views. It's hard to tell exactly where the money comes from. That said, the higher the views, obviously, the higher the pay will be. So let's get a decent one here so I can show you. Yeah, so you can see here like $20 for 5,000 views. On average, I get, as you can see here, at least, 10, 20, sometimes over 100,000. Most people I talk to have about these same stats that are just starting out. And then I have a couple of friends who have pursued it full time and they're earning like $2,000 to $3,000 per month writing 4 to 5 articles a week. So I think down the line, I will do a challenge where I commit myself fully to Newsbreak and see how much I can earn. On average though, effort compared to dollars, I do believe Newsbreak is a higher paying platform. With that said though, money isn't everything and there are many factors that come into play when deciding on what platform is right for you, many of which I wish I would have known when I first started. So in order to expedite your writing journey, I will share them with you now. So the first is social media. Although it may not directly influence your earnings, especially not right away, I found to be incredibly helpful. For my first year writing on Medium, I felt very stuck until I started to write on Twitter and LinkedIn. From there, I was able to network with other writers. I built a consistent writing practice, and I was able to hone in some micro skills like headline and hook writing, which have become very valuable when writing articles. The next is to prioritize your output speed over getting over writing exactly what you would like to write about. Although I don't love that essentially what I'm saying is focus on quantity over quality. When you first start writing, unless you have a background in blogging or you're already a proficient writer, it's easy to overthink, overanalyze, and get stuck in the weeds on ideas that just aren't important. I would prioritize learning to write fast, and that ability to hone in on your thoughts will come with time. The reality of the internet is you need to produce a lot of content. More content, I believe that is healthy for us, but that's the way the world is. When something like the internet or social media opens the world up for everyone to have a chance, that's awesome. It knocks down the barriers. It also makes it more competitive. The next thing is to write from the heart and take more breaks. So when I first started, I was constantly teetering on the edge of burnout. And that's because I was so determined to write X amount of articles per week and on specific topics I thought people would like, that I would be in a state of resistance and I would burn out. So my advice would be, you can actually up your output if you just write about the things you're interested in. Especially at first, they might not perform well, but over time, you'll take those ideas, you'll be able to take your passions and package them in a way that people actually would like to read, and you'll be able to write a lot more. Nobody can force themselves to do anything for very long. Next is to find your tribe. So like I began with, social media is super helpful for connecting with other writers. And when doing a job that's so isolating by nature, like writing, it's important to link up with people and to be social. So that could be, posting on social media if you're into that. Like Twitter or LinkedIn are awesome for writing because they're text based, but also just responding to your comments, responding to people that support your writing, and spreading engagement on theirs, and kind of building that relationship so you don't feel like you're alone when you're posting articles. And if you're feeling inspired, you can always reach out to writers and ask if they would like to hop on Zoom calls. That's something that I started to do, and it helped me feel like I was part of something larger than myself, and helped give me motivation at times when I needed it. The next is to worry less about your followers. It is natural to define our success by external metrics. And if you'd like to grow, it is important to pay attention to your reads, your views. Followers make you feel good, but to be honest, if anything, I would pay more attention to your earnings and your reads, because that's what matters. Followers will come with time. I wouldn't worry too much about them. And the next is also to worry less, and that's about your images. When I first started, I would obsess over my images, and I would take way too long to pick an image that works, that highlights my article. And what I've learned since then is that, especially when it comes to writing articles on Medium, images don't matter. People are there to read, and the headline is everything. If you're stuck, what you can do is just pick a word from the headline and show an image of that. So if it's 10 ways to beat burnout as a content creator, show a picture of someone that is either burnt out or not burnt out, like they're happy and excited. You can easily spend way too much time on the image, and at the end of the day, the impact an image has on the success of an article is very, very small. Instead, invest that energy into perfecting your headline. And the next is to not compare yourself to other writers. This is something that I did when I first started. I would get jealous. I'd think, this person is being so successful. And sometimes I would even read their articles and think, this is nothing special. Why are they so successful? And I am not. It just puts you in a negative headspace, and I would avoid that. The reality of writing online is that success does not always go to the best writer. It often will go to the best marketers. When you post any type of content online, I'd say 80%, maybe 60 to 80% of the success comes down to marketing. So that's why I advise people to spend a lot of time on the headlines, essentially the packaging. Okay, the last one is kind of 3 tips packaged into one, and that's headlines, 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 intro, 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 and make it skimmable. So I think with each of these tips, I've talked about headlines. It's so important. I have a video, which I think will pop up at the end or here. You can open it in a new tab and watch later on how I developed headline writing. Learning to write amazing headlines is one of the most important aspects of writing online. Next, I would say, is the intro, or some people call the hook. It's how you tell the readers that your article is worth reading, and then you hook them into continuing to read. Most people online skim articles, skim content. We're so accustomed now to scrolling that our attention spans are so short that you have to hook readers, and oftentimes just the ability to use the right words or format it in a certain way will beat out good writing. And one way I do that, use my headings, my subheadings to tell the story, to entice people to continue to scroll. Even if they're not reading each word, they'll skim, and then hopefully after spending enough time skimming, they'll actually decide to read the article. Here are my final thoughts on Medium and Newsbreak and deciding which platform may be best for you. I'd say the pros of Medium are that it is amazing for people that are truly passionate about writing. It's very community-based, and if you're struggling with the idea of calling yourself a writer or starting your writing journey, Medium is the best place to be linked up with like-minded people. It's a larger time investment compared to other platforms, but there is potential to earn good money. There are plenty of writers that use Medium as either a full-time job or a very lucrative side hustle. So the potential is there. It is a large time investment compared to Newsbreak, which I would say the main pros of Newsbreak are that it is low time investment for a high reward in terms of the money. They have an awesome referral program. So if you like Newsbreak and you would like to champion it and get people to sign up, that can be quite lucrative, as well as the exposure you get from the higher views. If you have links that you want to share in your bio, or link to maybe products or a store that you have, it's very good for that. On the flip side, unlike Medium, okay, my phone actually ran out of battery there. So to pick up where I left off, the user base on Newsbreak is primarily made up of those looking to read news articles. And if you're interested in writing about yourself, your life, and don't necessarily have a strong value proposition to offer, Newsbreak may not be, Newsbreak isn't as community focused as Medium, and I've heard the commenters can be a little bit mean. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I have made videos on how to get monetized on both of these platforms. So they should be popping up here and here. And basically I give you a step-by-step breakdown of how to start writing and get monetized on both of these platforms. I really hope that helps expedite your writing journey. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.